Vision Radio 345. Awesome in talk. Serving our community.
Vision Radio 345. The station to be tuned into. Keep it locked. Keep it locked. Keep it locked. Keep it locked.
Welcome to Vision Radio 345. It's me, Mr. Cain, with my special guest today, Tamzin Gayle, who has flown in from Jamaica for I don't know how long for, but she's here today. Welcome, Tamzin, to Vision Radio 345.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
How you been?
I've been okay. Can't complain. All is well. All is
Good.
well.
How was the flight?
It was a good flight. Nice direct flight, and it was an overnight flight. So
Okay.
sleep and movies.
What about the children?
They were good because it was a night flight. They slept, so they were actually pretty good. All three of them. Proud of them. Really proud of them. Really, really proud of my babies.
You know, Tamzin will play when it comes to our children. They stay in a line. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, let's get straight into the interview, because I know that you was out there for at least
3 years.
3 years now. And in this interview, we're just going to go through the stages of how Tamzin started out, a bit of a background and so forth, and build up to where we are now at the present moment. So could you tell me a bit about yourself, about your background and where you're from?
Well, born and bred in northwest London. Okay. My earliest memory of primary school is I went to a primary school called John Keble in Harlesden.
Okay.
From John Keble, I moved to Brentfield Primary, and I was there right up until year 6. Me, background about myself, raised by my mum, my dad. Pretty normal childhood.
Where your parents, where they from?
Born here, but Jamaican descent. Jamaican descent. They're the first generation to be born here because my grandparents migrated both sides, maternal and paternal migrated, and my parents were born here. So I was a pretty normal child, pretty normal teenager. Things are a lot different now than what it was then, but I enjoyed my teenage years, very much so.
So what was it like growing up in the area at the time as a teenager? Because I know which area you're from.
Right, so from Neasden, which is very close to Harlesden, Willesden, Stonebridge. Yeah. So as a teenager, I spent a lot of my times in those areas, Willesden, Harlesden, Stonebridge. It was during the time where there was a lot of gun wars in Harlesden. And from what I remember, the Yardies were being blamed for those gun wars back in those days. Wow. Harlesden, Stonebridge, Willesden. I was quite young, so obviously I wasn't keeping up at the time with what was happening. And to be fair with you, it didn't really affect me personally because I was quite sheltered in the sense of, I went to school, I came home, I was allowed out, but I had a curfew, had to be in at a certain time. Yeah. So I wasn't on the road doing things that I wasn't supposed to be doing or things that other teenagers were doing, which at the time I didn't understand, but obviously have full understanding of why my parents dealt with me the way they did now. Wow. And also times was different in the sense of we had less social media. So we were out there, we were out, my social life was outside with my friends playing as a teenager, going partying, under 18 parties. Mummy didn't want me to go, but I'm so grateful Daddy allowed it.
I think a lot of us went for that.
Daddy allowed it.
Come back a man in time. I'm hoping the locks wasn't changed.
Absolutely. But I was grateful in the sense of I was allowed to attend, but Dad always had to pick me up. Do you know what I mean? I wasn't the type of that was on night buses and on night tube, and it was structured. Yeah. My teenage years were structured, and I'm very, very grateful for that. To be honest with you,
and that's what we see, especially nowadays. You don't see a lot of. I'm not saying fathers ain't there, but protective with their daughters and make sure that they're safe. That's one of the main things as well.
I agree.
So let's go on to the next question. Is it correct to say that you attended a dance school for performing arts? Tell us a bit about that, because I know this one, she loved music, and any other times in their music.
Right, so yes, after school, at the age 16, I attended the Brit School for Performing Arts and Technology, and that's where I got my drama and dance BTEC qualification. So the Brit School, attending there, it brought out my confidence. Right. I was a very shy child. A very quiet child. And I feel like the drama lessons and the dance lessons, they brought out my confidence and brought out my self-esteem, and it's allowed me to sort of find another version of myself that I was scared to bring out, if that makes sense. So it was 2 years. I did 2 years in performing arts. but I chose not to go down that route. Reason being, I wanted to be a TV actress, and the Brit School was mainly stage. I didn't really want to be a theatrical actress. I wanted to be a TV actress. So, and at 16 years old, I didn't really have the mentorship or the guidance. So I just said, let me end it here. And then I took that gap year. After finishing the performing arts school.
So did you do any performances while you was there?
Oh yes, yes. Because we had to do multiple performances in the college, and also I remember attending auditions to try and attend plays outside of the college. I remember I was in one play. Okay, I can't remember the name of the play because I must have been about 15 years old, and it was in Wimbledon. It was at a theatre in Wimbledon. Okay, I can't remember, but. It was a good experience, the meeting up, the rehearsals, the learning of the lines. It was a really good experience, and I'm really glad I got to experience that as a young person growing up because it brought me out of my local area.
Yeah.
And it made me,
Harlesden,
you understand, it made me see there was more to life than Harlesden, more to life than the streets, more to life than just sitting down and doing nothing. Yeah. And at the time, a lot of the teenagers or a lot of my friends were just doing nothing at that time. They might be going to college or... but they never really had much ambition back then. And I think going to that school gave me a little bit more ambition than everybody else.
Yeah, give you a kind of clear vision of where you want to be, separated from the usual crowd that we have.
Absolutely.
That's fantastic because, I mean, even then, like she said, down in Harlesden time, I remember, because my sister lives over that side, it was atrocious down there. Church Road and all the other places down there, always nonsense going on.
Always nonsense,
and I could imagine it's horrendous, especially with the knife crime and the gun crime and the war between
back in the days. It was really bad because if you remember, the newspapers were always full of articles. BBC News was always full of articles, and But I'm grateful. I was kept away from that lifestyle. Do you know what I mean?
Which is a good thing, and this is what's brought you here today for you to tell your story.
That's it.
So not only you love music and dance, you're also an English teacher. How did that come about?
Okay, so I'm going to correct you there because I'm not a qualified English teacher. However, I had a hobby for reading and grammar. I love writing. Okay, so when I was working with young people, it was always... Like my forte is grammar. My forte is spelling. When I was in primary school, people always used to come to me and ask me how to spell certain words, and I was like the school dictionary, just reading off the spellings. True. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not an English teacher per se, but I do use my skills to assist others. Yeah,
which is a great skill because sometimes you've got good teachers, and then you've got bad teachers. You've got teachers with qualifications, but not really good at delivering it, but they get there in the end.
Yes.
And that's no disrespect to them because they're doing their work. But yeah, I understand that. I mean, the type of work you was doing then, especially with the kids, sometimes you don't need an actual good teacher. Not to say you don't need you need a good teacher, but sometimes they don't have to be qualified because some people got skills and they actually don't have no qualification for it, but they're just actually good at what they do.
That's it.
Which is a great thing.
That is it.
Right. So you decided to leave the country in
2022 it was.
2022. I wrote Tamzin in the questions. Could I remember what date it was? Anyway, so you decided to leave the country in 2022 and moved to Jamaica with your child at the time. And also you managed to write a book, which is on Amazon. The book is entitled Single Mother by Choice, which is out in the stores now.
In Amazon. It's being sold on Amazon only at present.
Only at present?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's one of the things we wanted to talk about as well, the book, because I did have that interview with her when we talked about it a couple of months back. But just to move forward on that one, do you have another one in mind at the moment, or are you just taking a break?
No, I've got another book in the making. I am going to be writing another book. Just to give you a brief insight into what that book's about, because those that have not read my book, my first book, Single Mother by Choice, is about my personal experiences as a mother, okay? And my second book, I'm going to be delving a little deeper into what it is that's... how do I explain this? I'm going to be delving a little deeper into what it is I've experienced and the trauma I've experienced within my life that's made me make this decision, if that makes sense, to raise my 3 babies alone, if that makes sense.
Okay, let's go back to the book, because I was reading some of it, and it says on the back of the book, you said, as far as I can remember, I always wanted to be a mother and wanted the husband, the house, the job, the perfect life. This was not God's plan for me. Could you elaborate on that?
Yes. As a young girl growing up, we watch all the sitcoms, all the American sitcoms, the British sitcoms, and there's always the mother, there's always the husband, there's always the big house, my wife and kids, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, sister, Keenan and Kel. And that's what I thought life was. You go to school as a child, you're told to go to school, you're told to get a job, you're told to get, have a partner, have kids, and, that's what I thought life was. Yeah. Do you understand? So, growing up, okay, it's not until I myself had, entered certain relationships and witnessed the relationships of my parents, I realized that, my life isn't going to go down the route I wanted it to go down, purely because of society and the way men are. And it's not just men, people. I'm not going to generalize the way people are.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If that makes any sense. So, yes, it's been a journey, I tell you.
Could imagine. Great talking to you. Listen, this is Vision Radio 345. When you leave any comments, just leave a message on 07585 364475, or if you can just leave your comments in the box below, and we're going to continue the interview. Next question, Tamzin. Well, it certainly was not what you thought it was. So you're in Jamaica. Assuming it's about 18 months now. I would have reckoned since when you left, about a year after when you left. Did you start your business then? I don't know if it was.
I actually started the business before I left.
Okay, so wow. So it's way before you left, you actually set it up. Now you set up the business, a property maintenance business in Jamaica. What made you come up with this idea and the children having to find school, etc.? How did you achieve this? Because this is a huge move. I remember speaking to Tamzin about this, because she used to work in the same place where I worked, and she said to me, she used to call me a granddaddy,
Yes, man, that's my granddad.
He went to me, I'm leaving the country. Mr. Tamzin, where are you going? I'm packing up to go to Jamaica. I said, Tamzin, to do what? Who you know in that Jamaica for going anywhere? Yeah, I'm packing up. I'm done. So I'm putting my plan together. I'm going to get my kids them over there and school them in Jamaica. And I thought, okay. I said, Tamzin, you sure? She said, yeah, man, I'm sure, man. And when Tamzin says, yeah, man, she's sure, she's definitely going to have her mind set to that and pursue that. Anyway, just going down a couple of months down the line, Tamzin must have seen me one time. I said, yeah, man, I've the paper them ready. I'm going. I'm booking the flight. I'm done to go. So coming back to the question, what made you come up with this idea to go with your children and have them schooled in Jamaica? And how did you achieve that?
All right. Right. So we need to go back a little bit. So, let's go back to work. So being at work, okay, we worked in the same place. I was there for 12 years, okay? And it's not until I had my daughter, I realized that what I'm currently doing is not the life I want. And I say that because in this country, I say that because what I realized was life for me was a lie, all right? Like I previously mentioned, they teach us to go to school, to get a job and so forth. But when I was working, I felt like I'm literally working to pay my bills. Where's my money? Do you know, there was no luxury. We're just surviving. And I was tired of surviving. And then after my daughter come along, and my second daughter, because I had my first daughter in 2018. My second daughter was born in 2020. And when I went back to school and I got that childcare bill, that was my entire wage. I only took home £1,600. Okay, my childcare bill was £1,600. Now, luckily, we do have a benefit system that assists. Okay, and the benefit system was paying for my childcare, but after paying for my childcare, paying for my rent, paying for my council tax, paying for my petrol to get to and from work and buying food, there's nothing left. And now in my head, I says, I can't live like this forever. I need change. Do you know? And that's when I says, my change is going to be Jamaica. And the only reason I chose Jamaica is because as a child, I was never taken to Jamaica. I always knew that's where my grandparents came from, but I had never seen Jamaica. So I took myself there as an adult for the first time in 2016. And when I got off that plane and that heat hit my face and I saw my people on the billboards, TVJ, when you turn on the news, it's just black man everywhere, black man here, black man there. I said, this is where I want to be. I felt like I was home. Do you know what I mean? Wow. I felt like I was home. And honestly, I've never felt at home in the UK, even as a young girl. Do you know, even as a young dark-skinned girl, I've had identity issues. You know, when I was younger, I wanted lighter skin. I wanted long hair like the white girls. And I couldn't have these conversations with my parents. Do you know? So that first time I took myself to Jamaica was when I said, I know I'm going to live here. That was in 2016. I said, this is where I'm going to end up. I didn't know when, but I just knew it's something I wanted to do. So bearing in mind that was 2016, first baby come in 2018, second baby come in 2020. So within 4 years after that trip, I had 2 children. That's when I knew it was time to go. Because at the same time, working at school, I could see that parents were struggling in the terms of balancing motherhood, balancing work. And it can be a stressful thing and it can take a toll on your mental health. And for me, mental health is important. That's I felt like if I didn't leave, I wouldn't be happy. And for me, life is about finding your happiness. You know, I did my 12 years and there. Your purpose as well. Finding my happiness and my purpose. That's the term. And I knew working at that school wasn't my purpose. Do you know, I didn't know what my purpose was at that moment in time, but I had to leave the country to find it, literally. You know, so that's how that came about. Wow.
And again, Tamzin is here to tell the tale because this is where she's at now. She's been out the country nearly
3.5 years. 3.5 years. And I left because April 2022, I quit my job. I was in Jamaica by October 2022 because in 2016, after I went to Jamaica and I knew this is where I wanted to be, I started putting things in place. So I had already applied for my citizenship, applied for my Jamaican passport.
That's right.
I opened up my Jamaican. You remember? I opened up my Jamaican bank account.
You must have come in one morning smiling. Tell me what you're smiling for. Make it my Jamaican citizenship.
Yeah, I wasn't going out there without citizenship. I wasn't going out there on a British passport alone.
Absolutely.
You know, opened up the Jamaican bank account, and while I was at work, every month I was sending money to Jamaica. Only because I knew I was going to be there. I didn't know when.
So
just every month, just sending money, literally every month. You know, and I'm grateful I did those things because when I got out there, it made life a little bit easier. You know, already had the passport, already had the citizenship, already had the bank account. You know,
this is what happens when you have determination to do something. And I know Tamzin is a very determined person. You can see what's happened with her. She's gone to Jamaica. She's picked her kids up. She's wrote a book. And God bless you, because I tell you something, there'll be much more coming from this woman here.
Absolutely.
I can't wait for that second book. It'll be interesting. We're going to take a break and we're going to be back just after this.
Vision Radio 345, empowering the next generation. Hey, this is Audrey Scott, endorsing Vision Radio 345. I just got to support that.
Hi, Godfrey here, Jackie's Love Kitchen mobile catering services, delivering the best in Caribbean cuisine. We do weddings.
I have never tasted food so good in my life.
Funerals and private functions.
I can really taste the love in the food. Thank you. Yeah, man, you know the food shot already, man. Big up.
We also provide our own staff, equipment, and of course, our extremely high-end service. For more information, please call 07983 488 491 or email jackieslovekitchen2014@gmail.com. Jackie's Love Kitchen.
So tell me, what does mental health look like? Does it look like me? Does it look like you? Or does it look like anybody and everybody? Because let's face it, we can all suffer with it. So if you feel that mental health is affecting you, visit your doctor or a mental health specialist, because these things can happen to the best of us.
Boy, them say them name Vision 345, but they should have also name Hearing, because them see the vision and them surely make we hear it.
Vision Radio 345, we gotcha.
Giving service to our community, Vision Radio 345. Awesome in music, great in talk.
Welcome back to the second half of this interview with my special guest, Tamzin Gayle. Well, you know, this is really a special moment because I know that Tamzin's been very busy. She's over here for a certain time. How long are you here for?
6 months-ish.
6 months, so she's going to be here for a while. But this is a woman who's got ambition, drive, and purpose. And like I said, I hope that it works out for you because I just see this as a massive adventure and a massive way of providing for your children and building up for the future.
Thank you.
So welcome back. So let's just continue the interview. So, okay, so moving forward, 2025, last year when Jamaica had its worst hurricane. It was its worst hurricane since Hurricane Gilbert, which was in the 80s. I remember when that happened in the 80s, it was absolutely terrible.
Really?
However, this one was a Cat 5. It's the highest ever hurricane I've had in Jamaica, Hurricane Melissa. How did the island cope? Because you was out there when that was happening. So just give some people the real deal of how it was when you was there, seeing it live in front of your face. How did it go for you, Tamzin? Because that must have been some serious experience.
It was an experience, okay? Obviously, prior to that, I experienced Beryl, okay? But Beryl was nothing, absolutely nothing compared to Melissa. Because obviously we had the warnings, you had the warnings, a hurricane is coming, prepare yourself, buy your foods. Now, obviously, me not being a Jamaican, okay, I'm thinking, all right, cool, let me go out and buy my snacks. All right, and they're saying only buy tin stuff. Now, in my head, it's not registering why you should only buy tin food, So, me like a idiot, pick up little cheese and pick up little things that's supposed to go in the fridge. All right, then hurricane lick now. Now, when I tell you, say Jamaica is vexed with the world, because the way the wind did sound, Melissa was howling. I'm in my yard, I'm hearing, whoo, that's how she was sounding. Whoo. Wow. And let's not forget, I've got the children, okay? Now, luckily, they're very resilient, all right? So as I had spoken, you understand? So I had spoken to them about this and they knew it was coming. So they were excited to see it come. So they're outside watching the trees, them wave and wave and wave. Right, you understand? But when they realised how serious it was when the current gone. Okay, because during the storm, light gone. So when current gone, we've got nothing. Lights, we have to light our candles, literally. So, what I've learned, okay, during hurricane is, well, obviously the reason why you need to buy tin food and tin food only is because of the current. Okay, when the fridge goes, your food's gonna rot. Right, yeah. Do you understand? So you have to pack up, all right, and then you have to ration everything because you don't know when the current's gonna come back. And at the same time, with the current gone, that affects the ATMs, cash points. So it was a serious learning experience because there's no light in the local area. So after the storm had gone, after the storm had finished, the next day, I'm saying to myself, okay, I'm going to go and do some grocery shopping, buy some food shopping for the kids because everything's finished and the kids need to eat. Now, me and my children, they're standing up there waiting for taxi. A taxi now on, obviously because all the trees them is in the road. Wow. You understand? So me and my children have to walk to the local grocery shop.
How long did it take you to get there? Was it far?
It's not. About 20-25 minutes with the children them, okay? So bearing in mind, I got one in my hand, I'm holding one, and I've got a big one walking in front of me, and we're walking past trees that have blown into the road, lampposts are down, I'm walking past houses, the roof gone, and it's just like, wow. But I have to praise the Lord, because where I live is concrete, so we didn't have any damage to the building itself. The only thing we suffered was the loss of light, which was compared to what they experienced in St. Elizabeth and Westmoreland.
That's what my family thought it was.
That's the least.
Wow. But whereabouts are you? You were in St. Anne's?
St. Anne. So there was no flooding in the community either. Right. No flooding. So I was lucky. So my main issue was no current and not being able to take money out of the ATMs, because no current meaning no cash points, no electric. Right. Yeah. So I had to go into the grocery store and say to him, is your card machine working? He's like, yeah, card machine's working. I'm like, beautiful, wonderful. So pick up my stuff now, go to the till, and he's telling me, no, card machine ain't working no more. So I'm saying to him, so what do you mean card machine ain't working no more? I got to feed my 3 children. So, I come here all the time, I might have to give you my number and you just give me the goods because the kids need to eat, But it's an Indian man running the shop, and he took me to his warehouse where they had the Wi-Fi. So luckily I was able to do the transaction, but not everybody has a debit card in Jamaica. Do you understand?
Right.
So I was feeling it for those that don't have certain resources, that don't have certain things. But the community came together, though. The community came together in the sense
that's one thing that you do know. When something happens, everybody comes together.
Community came together. The community came together to clear up the streets. It was the community that picking up the debris off the road, checking on our elderly, making sure certain people have food in the house. If they didn't, we just give them what we have. People with generators were letting us charge our phones. They were charging $100 a piece, though. Any way to make a dollar in Jamaica. But what's $100? To charge your phone and to speak to your loved ones. So it was an experience for me, but it also showed me what we as individuals have to do to be prepared when these things happen. A generator is a must.
I think that what came to mind when you were telling me that, Tamzin, is the fact that you see the logo says "out of many one." I think that's the time when everybody came together as one, despite what anybody had. You could see people were there helping, sharing. Tamzin just mentioned people who couldn't charge their phone. Well, obviously they charge a bit of money for it, but the fact that they was helping other people, which was a great thing. So I just want to touch slightly on the government, because after when things calmed down, because over here, obviously we're here in England looking at it, we're checking out our loved ones and family. I mean, we had to send the barrel over. The barrel went over in, I think it was deadline for November. It's supposed to land. They didn't get there till January. Yeah, there's a lot of things happening over this. Because my family and all of us got together, we've got some stuff put in a barrel, like most families would do, and send it back. Some of the stuff didn't make it. Some of the stuff went missing, which is really sad. This is what I didn't understand. People out there, I get it. It's a hard time for anybody, and people are going to do what they need to do to survive. But the fact that we was told that barrels were taken out and things were taken out of the barrel, kind of disappointing. But hey, it's a survival mode, so we just had to accept, what it is. Yeah. But yeah, like I said, over here, people were just doing what they had to do, calling back and forth. I was talking to my brother regular, making sure things are okay. But it was a really big worry, because when you hear a Cat 5 is the highest hurricane point you can get. It's the highest point, and that's complete devastation. And from where my family from in St. Elizabeth, I mean, they got hit hard. But we, like you usually do, we come together, we try to support each other, and the next door neighbours and so forth and so on. But yeah, so when everything calmed down, what's the government doing now? Just to touch on that slightly, what's happening after that?
Okay, so I do know the government were trying to roll out some form of relief support for those that had lost their roofing. Right. I think they were a grant system. That's what they were doing. They were giving out money to those that had lost their roof. Right. But speaking to people in the rural areas like St. Elizabeth, a lot of them are still homeless. A lot of them still have no roof. And apparently, when a lot of them were trying to apply for these things, they're being asked for things like ID and TRN and land title and,
But how can you ask for ID when you had a hurricane? Where are you going to find all that?
Okay, then. So this is where I question the government, because at the end of the day, they're asking for certain things that they know
they can't provide.
Right. So is it genuine? Do you know what I mean? Is the help genuine? Is it genuine? And has anybody actually received that help from the government? I don't know, because a cousin of mine, she lives in Watchwell, St. Elizabeth, okay? And she had to create a GoFundMe page. It was the public that was contributing to her GoFundMe that made her fix her roof, 600,000 Jamaican dollars to fix the roof. But it wasn't the government, because now she's still waiting. Now she's still waiting for her support.
Wow. So she's still there with the house with no roof.
She got the roof fixed. The roof fixed with the GoFundMe campaign. Okay, with the GoFundMe campaign.
From where the government are concerned.
Yeah, she's had nothing from them. There was I know there was a moment in time where they were supposed to be, there was like food aid, they were supposed to be going to certain parts of St. Elizabeth.
Yes, I remember they was driving around with vans and so forth.
Citizens would be literally stood there at the point and no one would turn up. No one would turn up, and they'd just be there waiting. So literally members of the community in Watchwell decided that, you know what, we're going to give our neighbours the food. And my cousin, she joined a campaign where she was giving food parcels to the elderly and people that can't get out, and it was really nice. You know what I love to see? I love to see the community spirit, man. The love when people come together, it's a beautiful thing.
That's the one people part.
Yeah.
And now everything's kind of getting back to normal, so to speak. The one people gone, everybody for themselves again.
Right, you understand? And that's a shame. That's a shame, but it was an experience. And boy, so just my advice to anybody that's in Jamaica, invest in a generator. Invest in a generator.
Quite a few people did send back generators and stuff like that, because
keep cash in your house. If you rely on cash machine like myself, when you hear a hurricane is coming, take out your money and make sure you've got money in the house, because that's the most important thing. Is when the hurricane is finished, you need to go out and you need to restock, and when there's no ATMs, survival mode in Jamaica isn't nice. When people are on survival mode in Jamaica, it's not nice.
Survival mode is on a 10 plus.
It's not nice.
Wow. But the thing is, the beauty about it is that what for me, hearing it from you now, is that the community got together. That's the main thing. I mean, I saw some clips, was really heartbreaking. A woman had a business out there and she went back to it and there was nothing there. So these are people who are starting from scratch.
Literally.
A country with so much resilience. It's unbelievable. I don't know how anybody could probably deal with that if that was here. I don't know how people would deal with that, because it's unbelievable, the amount of resilience. Okay, let's go back to the questions now, because I want to talk about your children, how they settle in. How are your children settling in at school
in Jamaica?
In Jamaica.
Okay, so when I carried them out there, they were only 1 and 4. Okay, so I'm lucky at the fact that they didn't have to start school in the UK, so they didn't have that transition difficulty like most children would if they were older.
Yes.
So one thing I'm going to tell you is I was researching their school before I even left, so I knew what school I was sending them to. I sent them to a preparatory school, okay, which is equivalent to a private school in Jamaica.
Right.
It's a fee-paying school. And the reason why I did that was because of my, kids being British. I was a little bit concerned about the public schools, because, the kids can be a little bit rough out there. And, I've got 2 little girls. But at the same time, what I didn't realize is that primary school actually starts at 6 in Jamaica. So they weren't they were in kindergarten, okay? In kindergarten. But they did well. They did, like I said, they didn't start school in the UK, so they didn't have nothing to compare it to, but they did. I'm proud of them. I'm so proud of them, because from the age of 4, my eldest was 4 at the time. She's now 8. Okay, and in those 4 years, the progress that she's made, and what I love about Jamaican schools is they're very big on prayer. Okay, they're very big on devotion in the mornings.
Yes.
In the mornings you have to do your devotion.
Have a prayer
they're very big on discipline.
Yes.
And that's what I love as well. And my children had absolutely no issues at school. None. Some in Jamaican schools, they're not allowed to beat the children, but some teachers still take a ruler to the pitney them hand. And I don't mind, because my second daughter does need a little bit of that discipline. For me, I didn't have a problem with it.
Yes.
But when it comes to the schools itself, when it comes to their education system, I am very impressed with their education system, because at the age of 7, my daughter was learning about the biology, the bodies and the lungs and the hearts and this and that. And I didn't learn that till secondary school. So the fact that she's learning that at 7 years old is amazing. They were teaching her Spanish. Okay, she was learning Spanish as well at the prep school. So, man, they did well. They did well. They both did well, both babies. And I just hope that now that they're back in England, for a little while, there's no regression. Because if usually, I don't know if but usually when Caribbean kids come to the UK and start school, they usually regress, because the education system's a little bit different.
Yes, that's right.
It's not so advanced as it is in the Caribbean.
Yeah, they're very forward over there when it comes to that.
Yeah, so I
feel like when they come here, they have to take a test to put them in the right... Like not like stats, like when you put them in their the right stages, like you got lower level tier, high level tier, group 1 for English, 2, 3, 4. But there they just it's a different thing.
And they're very good. And when it comes to teaching about Jamaican history, they're very good about Jamaican history. Like my children can tell you who the national heroes are, can tell you the national flower, the national dish, can tell you about the Arawaks and the Tainos.
Wow.
So that's the education that they've had out there. That's the education I wanted them to get out there.
and you've got it. You've got what you wanted them to do, which is great, because obviously people talk about history, and the only time we kind of see history is when we go to school here, but they're not teaching you the broader history about people's cultures and where people come from, which is a really great thing, because even over here, some of the young people over here, you ask them about their history,
they can't tell you.
They can't tell you.
And what we need to realize as black people and parents is we're in a white man's country, and we can't expect them to teach our children our history. It starts at home. We've got to do it. The textbooks are there, but when they do teach us, what do they teach us? Slavery. And our history is bigger than slavery. And that's what the young people need to see. If that makes sense. That's what they need to see in order to want to do better. And achieve. That's just my personal opinion.
That's just her personal opinion. People have their opinions. You have the right to talk. So I'm just going to go back to your book now, Tamzin, because I've got the first one. Remember this book here?
Single Mother by Choice.
Tamzin with her little beanies there, look.
My bad. They don't look like that no more. Wait, you want to see them?
Oh my gosh.
Big people know.
Oh my gosh. So just to go back, not go back on the book, because obviously we can still get it on Amazon. But I heard you're on your second book. Tell us a bit about that. I mean, are you on the second book, or where are you with that at the moment?
I am planning the second book.
You're planning the second book.
Yes, because as mentioned, the first book discusses my experience during parenthood and the trauma of my parents' relationship. Do you know what I mean? So my second book, I'm going to be delving a little bit more into what it was I witnessed with regards to my parents and their relationship, and why I'm trying to avoid history repeating itself. That's what it is. I don't want history to repeat itself. History will not repeat itself. And all this is because I want my children to grow up in a healthy...
Yeah, so tell us about the property side of it. Like, I know you're in Jamaica now, you've got your business going. Well, you're over there now. So the property business, how did that come about as well?
Okay, so JA Land and Property Services is my fourth baby. Okay, how I got this business idea is, number one, when I decided to move to Jamaica, I was apartment hunting, house hunting, because obviously I don't own any land over there, so I was going out there to rent, and I was looking for somewhere to live. I found loads of interesting places, but I didn't have anybody I could call to say, can you look at this apartment for me and call me while you're there? Reason number two, as a young person growing up in Britain around Jamaicans, I've got Jamaican family, so I was always hearing family members complain about them sending money home to do work on their house and no work not get done, and them teething this and the usual. So I said to myself, all right then, people have been complaining about this for years. What if I was to take up myself and create a property management service to assist the diasporans, the people that are not in Jamaica? And that's how the business idea came about. So what I actually do is all forms of property maintenance stroke management. So if you're outside of Jamaica and you own a property, I will assist you with any form of maintenance to your property. So if you need painting done, if you need plumbing done, if you need electrical work, if you need any construction work, I will assist you in getting those things done. I went out there and I've partnered with plumbers, I've partnered with builders, I've partnered with all sorts of tradesmen to basically do those services, okay, and do the work on the home. In addition, if you own a home and you want to rent it out, I will help you find your tenant, okay. I vet the tenants, I collect the deposit and the rent on the tenant's behalf, and obviously send them the money when the money's paid. I do Airbnb management and I do project management. So if you want to build a home, I will assist you with that from design right through to completion stage. And I've actually just got a contract for a property build in Clarendon. So I'm actually assisting a lady that lives here in London build her home in Clarendon. I've got my architect, he's done the designs and he submitted the papers to the parish council. It's been approved, and I've now got my builder's doing a bill of quantity for her, quantity surveyor as well. So things are moving. Things are moving.
Just like I said, this woman's got drive. She has children and she's running a business. Wow. Absolutely brilliant.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Done. There. Tamzin, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
So much for coming down. This was overdue. We talked about this over the phone. I used to ring Tamzin. I'll call her in Jamaica. Tamzin, when you coming over? I said, I'm coming over in She said, yep, I'm definitely coming down. Again, Tamzin, thank you so much for coming down.
Thank you very
pleasure.
much. Thank you.
Thank you. That's it from Vision Radio 345. Keep it locked. Remember the number to call 07585 364475. Leave your comments down below. And we'll see you soon. Thank you very much.
Bye.